Let's go ahead and open your 226. After it has opened, let's save this as and go to your Google Drive, go to your SketchUp files folder, and we're going to do practice rotate. Okay, so this is now called practice rotate. And as you know and have figured out, we are going to practice rotate on this tutorial. So the rotate tool is under your move tool. When you click on that one, this icon here stands for rotate. When you click on this rotate, the first thing it will ask you to do is click the center of rotation. Okay, so the center of rotation, let's point to this point over here. Okay, now when you click on this point, before you click on this point, don't click it, just hover over it. Depending on how you position your mouse or your trackpad, it will automatically either switch, okay, where you can rotate and use the blue axis as your center of rotation, or if you move your mouse or finger slightly towards the face that's standing up, you will now use the red axis as your center of rotation. So you have two choices over here. Okay, if you point onto this plane on top here, you have three choices. You can either slightly go to the left face and you are rotating on the red axis, slightly go into the right face and you are now using the green axis as your rotation, or if you go and slightly move onto the top face or hover over it, you are moving or rotating onto the blue axis. So it depends on where you slightly point your mouse or your trackpad. So when you click on this corner over here, now we're going to click. When you click on this corner, okay, you have locked yourself into rotating only onto the blue axis. So that means that if I click another point, okay, this is the center, the one that you click first, and then you click on another point, and that will be a point of reference, and then you can now rotate freely. Okay, now why is my drawing being destroyed, so to speak? Well, that's because this object is not a group. And when you're rotating, you have to select the object as a group first. Okay, so we're going to press escape to cancel. We're going to use the select tool, and then we are going to select everything. And it's better to make this a group, so we're going to right click and make a group, so that when we are ready to rotate, we can point to this one. Okay, and I want to lock into the blue axis as center rotation. I click on that one, click on here, and then I can rotate the whole object all at once. So rotating on the blue axis will rotate and use the blue axis as like the center of rotation, the blue axis direction, not the actual axis itself. Okay, press escape. If I point to the same thing but slightly use the orange face, okay, then I'm going to use the green axis as the center of rotation. So click, and then you want to click now here again. Oh, let's zoom. So depending on where I hover over the yellow orange face, and then I snap to the corner here. Okay, let's zoom closer. So over here, and then hover over there, and then I can now grab onto this corner here. Let's press escape first, and then rotate again, and then hover over here and then click on the center rotation. And then grab this corner here, and then I can rotate. Right now, Be very careful because you might think that you're grabbing onto the corner, but you're not. So it might show you the dot over there, but if you click somewhere here, then you're rotating and the center of rotation is over here. Okay, so be careful where you click because it's not always going to select that. So that's why it's actually hard to rotate unless you know some of the tricks. Okay, so for the tricks, make sure that the one you're rotating is a group. Okay, and if you want to rotate, let's say here, I click my rotate tool, and then I hover over the orange face because that's where I want to rotate. I want to rotate using a green axis. I press my shift key, right? I hold down my shift key, and then it locks in the rotation on that axis. So even if I hover over another plane, it will not rotate anymore. If I let go of my shift key, then it just releases it again. So make sure that when you have the axis that you want to rotate using the rotation axis, you press your shift key, it locks it in, and then you can now click on this corner and then point to another corner and then do your rotation. Okay, do your rotation. So it will tell you the angle over here. So if you rotate 90 degrees, then you point to that one, and it's now 90 degrees. Okay, so press escape. We're not going to rotate. So if I want to rotate on the ground, and I don't want it to rotate this way or that way, I want to rotate using the blue axis as center rotation. I hold down my shift key while this is color blue, not color red, not color green. While it's color blue, I hold it down, and then I click here, and then I click another point here, and then I can now rotate freely on that on that axis. Okay, so practice your rotation. I told you already about the tricks of holding down the shift key. So if I want to rotate here on this plane, I make sure it's red so that it rotates on the red axis. I hold down my shift key on my keyboard, and then I select the point of rotation, and then I grab another corner, and then I can now rotate freely like that. Okay, so practice your rotation so you know how to rotate using shift key.